This is the Direware Solo V5, I believe. Now this is not my knife. This knife belongs to Dirk Werning. And if you don't know Dirk, he's got a relatively new channel on YouTube, knife-based channel, that has taken off and is going strong like gangbusters. Very cool guy. We've had him on Thursday Night Knives, and our good friend Alex introduced me to him. And I'm so glad I've met him, because not only is he a great guy to talk to about knives, and whose videos are excellent, and he's got taste like mine in that he likes really big knives, but he's got extravagant taste. And what I mean by that is he's got this knife and many other great custom knives. Now to me, Direware has always been a knife that I've been a little bit mystified by. You don't see too many people who have them. I follow Direware on Instagram, and the maker is kind of mysterious, and I don't know, these just sort of pop out. And I know for him, they don't just pop out. They are definitely laborious to create, but oh my God, man. Yeah, I would love to talk to him and have him on my interview podcast at some point. But let's get into this. This is the Direware Solo V5, I believe. And I don't have much to say about it in terms of review, because I did not even carry this. Now, Dirk is a very generous gentleman, and I kept saying, I'll have it back to you in 10 days. And he just kept saying, just take your time, hold on to it. And I became comfortable, and I've had this for about a month. And before possession becomes 9/10 of the law, I better send this back to him, because I have fallen deeply and madly in love. Okay, so this is a full custom knife, and I don't know what it costs, but I'm quite sure you're paying for a beautifully handmade and precisely made knife. So I'm sure it's pretty darn expensive. Let's see. I haven't even measured this yet. So the blade is, I'm terrible with math, but I know each one of these is a half inch. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 inches exactly of M390 steel. Now I really like how they put that in there. M390 is nestled. Let me see if I can zoom in. Nestled right there next to the thumb stud / blade stop. Actually, it's not much of a thumb stud at all. It is pretty much a blade stop. M390, and then that Direware, and I love that font. I can't remember what it's called, but I used to know. My sister's a graphic designer, and she used to have me font crazy, and I just love the way that looks. Looks like something you'd see on an Old West business card, to me. Okay. I'm getting a little bit dazzled by looking at this thing through my viewfinder. So let me just break it down. You've got a contoured, beautiful carbon fiber handle, and not being a huge fan of carbon fiber, especially the more regular weaves, this one I really like. It's got a regular weave to it, but I can't quite get my hand on it. It doesn't repeat regularly in a way that my eyes understand, so I like it. The monotonous patterned carbon fibers stick in my craw a little bit, not sure why. So this handle is contoured. If you look at it from this angle, you'll see it's got a beautiful, comfy little slope, and since we're right here, it's got this beautiful, I'm going to be saying beautiful a lot, so I'll just say it's got this back spacer, which I find quite aesthetically pleasing, and then it's got this monster clip on the beautifully contoured titanium lock side. Now let's talk about this monster clip for a second. I've always looked at this clip and thought, wow, that must be uncomfortable. But then looking at it and looking at the shape of it, and then once I got it in hand, I realized this is all very deliberate. The shape of this, when it's in this kind of a grip, like full hammer grip or Filipino grip, that clip nestles, I don't know if you can see this, but see where these two hands in my lines in my hand are? I think that's my lifeline, and this is my knife clip line. These align perfectly. and I don't know if this is just because this knife was actually made for me and not for Dirk, that this fits me so beautifully, or if this giant clip fits really, really nicely in everyone's hand, but it fits great in my hand. So Dirk, if this is uncomfortable to you, I'll see what I can do about, taking it off your hands. Let's see, so titanium, kind of bronzed, no pockets, no nothing. There's your lockup, as Eugene Kwan would say. That's about 52 or 53.5%, I'd say. And then that's the flipping action. Now this is pretty much exclusively a flipper, unless you want to open it up two hands, because these blade stops don't work for that, at least not for my thumbs. I put it down, but I know I'm gonna pick it right back up. I love a recurve tanto. I'll come right out and say it. But this thing, I really like that shape. Now look at how, what's the front part of a tanto called? The yokote something. But look at the line, look at the grind line, how it swoops all the way down, and then it traces the edge all the way to that very subtle termination. This is one hell of a blade grind. And then listen to this. I'm gonna take this off screen and put it close to the mic so you can hear it. But this is the sound of an extremely sharp blade. Now listen. You hear that? You hear how thin? Look, I'm just doing this and it's taking little bits of my thumb off. This mofo is so sharp and so beautifully hollow ground, and this space from here to the edge is very broad, so it has a real chance for that, I don't know what size wheel he used, but to bite in there and get this thing so thin behind the edge in this portion. And then right here, as you could easily predict, it starts to widen out and get a little bit more robust for the types of use you might need a more robust part of your knife for. I mean, this is really thin and cutty, and this is pretty stout and stabby, even though that's kind of an obtuse angle here. This, I showed this to my daughter, and attempting to get buy-in. I mean, I'm always doing that with my family. Look at this knife, oh my God. And I just want them to say, oh my God, Daddy, or oh my God, husband, that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and I think you should buy one. I think you should forego my college education and purchase one. But they never say that. So this is not mine. All right, so here's my one criticism, and this is not a criticism that would break the deal for me, but this I find very cool. Look at this. This choil from the handle continues with the flipper in at least half of a pure circle. That's at least half of a pure circle there. And I find that incredibly beautiful to look at, and then it feels so nice in the hand when you're kind of choked up and like this. The one issue with having this flipper tab curve so far back onto the handle and onto this finger choil is that when I go to unlock it, I really have to crush my thumb with this to get with the flipper to get the ball, the detent ball, past the lock bar. So you see that ball there. I have to kind of really get it down there to get it to clear, and with this very circular shape here, it almost stops that from being possible. So for me and my medium-sized hands, when I unlock this knife, I have to come, I want to come here where the jimping is, because the jimping is telling me to put my thumb here. But if I do that, you know, you have to knock that over. I think, you know, I'm not giving, I don't even know the gentleman's name who makes these knives. Please forgive me, but I'm not giving him any advice. Believe me, I've never made one, I have not made one titanium frame lock folder, or any folder of any sort, let alone a masterpiece like this. But that little thing right there, it'd be kind of cool to have a little ramp so that little groove cut out in the tang of this blade so that when you do this, it's super smooth. All right, first world problems, no doubt. First world problems, but we are definitely talking about a first world knife here. So, you know, why not? So yeah, shockingly, this beautifully sculpted giant clip feels great in the hand. It kind of nestles right into all the right spaces. The shape of the handle and the contouring is very, very comfortable. You have jimping. I mean, this is maybe decorative, or maybe this is just for your palm when you're really bearing down, but it's got some jimping all the way around here. Now, for me personally, in reverse grip, this clip becomes radically less comfortable. And I don't know if that's because my reach is not, maybe if my hands were bigger and wrapped around more, it would be more comfortable. But also, this point I don't like so much. I mean, I like it. I love the way it looks, and I love the way it could function as a noggin knocker in this grip. But in reverse grip, I like something, it would be nice if this were kind of truncated so that my thumb could come over here and actually grip kind of like the way it grips on the clip. But, you know, I haven't gotten any reverse grip knife fights since I've been borrowing this from Dirk. So maybe I should before I return it to him, just, you know, so I can give him that kind of metric on feedback. Of course, just kidding. All right, so let me roll in a couple of size comparisons here to show you what this Direware Solo, I believe, V5, how it compares to other knives. First, I'll start with some esoteric knives, and then I'll move into the more common knives and knives that are used frequently for this purpose. That is the size comparison purpose. Oh, I just screwed up the frame and everything is unorthogonal and it's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, there we go. So this, next to my one and only custom flipper, or custom folder, this is the Greg Lightfoot Element. Similar size. And here it is with an XM24. 24 is a little bit bigger in all dimensions. Well, except the width. Here it is with an SMF. So it's a big, broad knife. I mean, like this dimension from here to here. And you know what? I never carried this around because I was afraid of, I mean, what happens if you're borrowing someone's beautiful knife like this and you just happen to get stopped by a cop and he just so happens to be a dick and he just so happens to notice you have a sweet knife, and then suddenly I owe Dirk Werning $1,600 or whatever this costs. I'm not sure what this costs. So I did not carry it, but I imagine that in the pocket it is quite a hog. I mean, look at that. You got the giant flipper, you got the quite broad handle, and then the broad blade. So, and then you have this clip advertising. Look at me, I've got a custom knife. God, look at that blade. I mean, oof, beautiful. All right, size comparisons. Let's see. Got a couple more here. Here it is with a Recon 1 Bowie. Since I am a Yank, I say Bowie. Here it is with a ZT-0200. So these are kind of, the reason I pulled this out is it's kind of a chunky, contoured, beefy knife. But I have to say, like, holding them together, the Direware is definitely feels bigger. And if any of you know the 200, the ZT-0200, it's a big damn knife. So the Solo is no little wilting violet. All right, I'm gonna put this down and show you this knife with the knife that every knife reviewer assumes that you have. There it is with a paramilitary 2. I bet you don't have one, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway, because you get how big this is, because you've seen this in every knife video. Mine, by the way, is a problem child. I've never been able to quite get it to fall shut since I took it apart the first time. Oh, it's because you took it apart, you fucked it up. All right, so there it is next to the paramilitary 2, and here it is next to a Ritter grip, or I should say Ritter Hogue So this is kind of like a stand-in for a full-size Griptilian. And what else did I pull out? And this is it. Just there's the, with a Delica. Look at that. Aw, isn't that cute? This is another problem child. I love it dearly, but this, through almost no use, has developed blade rock, a play that I haven't quite been able to take care of yet, so I will. So, I've spoken long enough, and you've gawked long enough at Dirk's knife. This thing is so cool. If I were a guy who regularly said dope, I'd say this knife is dope as hell. But I don't say dope, so this knife isn't dope. It's just pretty damn sweet. Listen. Sharp as hell. Dirk, congratulations on a really, really beautiful knife. I love this thing. Oh, and by the way, this front portion, which is usually, I don't have any other tantos right here, which is usually flat ground to the hollow grind of the straight part. In this knife, it's also hollow ground. So, I mean, layers of badassery upon layers. And by the way, homie knows how to grind a knife too. Grind a blade, look at that. All right, so there it is. Dirk Werning's Direware V5 Solo. Unfortunately not mine, but there it is. A beautiful, beautiful thing. And, well, I'm going to return this beautiful thing to him tomorrow. Tomorrow it flies across the country. A couple more action shots. See, it's not so bad if I come down here to unlock. So, there you have it. Enjoy.